Alright, hello, and welcome to an exclusive playthrough for my new channel. I mean, I've done this game already for my video game channel. It was one of the earlier games I did, being a nostalgic favorite. Yeah, original broken English dialogue. They fixed that in some of the more recent ports, but anyways. Like I've said many a time before over on my gaming channel, the original Zelda game. The game that almost single-handedly kept my interest in video games alive in 1988. The golden age of linear platformers. Castlevania, Ghosts and Goblins, Contra, you know. Good games, but anything repetitive can get redundant. And when every game is like that, at least for me, just when I was about to write video games off as linear bullshit, somebody suggested this game. Yeah. Wish that person was still alive today. I could thank him. Again. Anyways. Oh, I do still have save files here. Okay, well. Alright, eliminate that one. And again, not that it matters, you're never going to be referred to by, any name anyways, but since his name is supposed to be Link, and we begin. Sure. Basic wooden sword, but it works. Yeah. Of course, this game was quite different for the time. I mean, it's kind of archaic by today's standards, sure. I would hope so, some 40 years later. Well, 40 years in Japan. Granted, the American 40th anniversary isn't until August 22nd of next year, but released in February of '86 in Japan. But yeah. Quite the large game for its time. World map, again, by today's standards, it's a rather tiny world map, but for 1986 standards, it was gargantuan, especially in contrast to some of the other games of the day. Not to mention, it wasn't just me and my personalized interest in gaming that I mentioned in the intro, but that is one of the impacts of this game, as it helps show the industry at large that video games could be more than just arcade settings, something you could play while standing in front of an arcade cabinet. That games didn't have to be limited to just that kind of style. And it's a game that so many developers would borrow from, quote unquote, over the years. Can I not get that? Okay, good. Blue rupees are 5, just like pretty much any other Zelda game. Of course, this game doesn't have red rupees for 20, so unlike a lot of the later Zelda games starting with A Link to the Past. Hang on, I'm getting beaten up by levers here. There, that's better. Well, I was just going to say, with the way I'm playing here today, you couldn't tell that this is the game that I've played more than any other game by far. nothing else even coming close as far as how many times I've replayed it. Whether actual NES hardware back in the day, computer emulation, 3DS Virtual Console, Switch NES Online, one way or the other, yeah. The game that I've replayed the most, by far. Okay, see. Nope, no luck. Dang it. Okay, come on, game. You're not being very cooperative here. Where's my bomb drop? Fine. There's an obvious heart container out there, but okay, there's a bomb drop. Good. Can't get that yet. And yes, this game, like Zelda 2 following it, heart containers. They didn't start breaking the heart containers up into heart pieces like they have ever since until A Link to the Past, the third game in release order. And actually, I don't need to buy the... Well, might as well as long as I'm here. Didn't really need to, I just got some bombs, but oh well. In this game, you can never have enough bombs, especially if you don't know where all the bombable secrets are. I mean, I do, after having replayed the game so many times over the decades. I pretty much have them all memorized. But for somebody not as familiar with the game as I am, yeah, never hurts to have extra bombs. Since unlike later Zelda games, once again, starting with A Link to the Past, bomb walls aren't so clearly marked. Yeah. That was another thing that started with A Link to the Past. Oh shoot, I'm dying. Well, luckily I never said this was going to be a no-death playthrough. Right, otherwise I'd have to reset. Granted, it's not like I made a lot of progress, so resetting wouldn't be too bad, but still. I mean, I could do a no-death playthrough if I really wanted to, have many times over, just, eh. Don't really care much for that kind of idea because, like what just happened earlier, if this wasn't an attempt at a no-death playthrough, I would have just had to reset and redo everything. Which, again, wouldn't be too bad right now, but the further you make it into the game and that happens, the more you have to redo, and the more annoying that gets, so, yeah. That's why I don't really get into the challenge kind of playthroughs. Zero death, or hitless, or... speedrunning in general. I mean, if that's your thing, more power to you. Far be it from me to talk down to you or to be all smug about it. But I'm just saying that's not really for me. If it works for you, fine. To each their own, but... Okay. Now, if I can get past that Lionel up there. And yes, that's what that thing is supposed to be, a Lionel. I mean, I know. Lino, the look, how Lino's look have come a long way since this game between this game to Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but you know, that's because video games in general have come a long way since. You know. But anyways, yeah, I just got a sword upgrade, making this the only game in all of Zelda history where you can have a sword upgrade, not just the bargain basement sword, but an upgrade to it before you even go to any one of the dungeons. Never again, to this day, would that ever be the case. A lot of games would have sword upgrade options, but you would always usually have to go through at least a dungeon or two before you had access to it. For the aforementioned Link to the Past, you had to go through the first 3 dungeons before you got a sword upgrade. Oh man, kill me. That was intentional. Actually, I don't know why I did that now that I think of it. Yeah, because I started out over here. I don't start out any closer to where I was. That was kind of dumb on my part, but oh well, fine. Luckily, I never claimed to be a super genius either. Because if I was, I would have just lost that argument with what you just saw there. Yeah, wanted to go back. Because I just remembered before I went for the sword upgrade in that loop, or that where you can't go back the other way once you cross that. Over the other way from here. There's this. It's a secret to everybody. Oh, you stupid moblin. Go away. I'll take that, thank you. Now, in the open world, well, as open as an 80s NES game could be, in the open world style of this game, from where I am right now on the world map, if I were to go one screen down and one screen to the right, or left rather, I'd be at the entrance to level 2, which I could go to right now, forget level 1. Is that, again, is the thing I've always loved about this game. Unlike most other 80s NES games or 80s arcade games, for the most part, you can go through the levels in any order you see fit to do so. I mean, yeah, there are a few restrictions. You need certain items to cross certain barriers found only in later levels, sure. But 9 times out of 10, yeah, you really can set your own pace or set your own order, go in whatever. You know. The levels are numbered, but you don't necessarily have to go through them in sequential order necessarily. What a concept! Especially back then when so many of the games were linear. Good games, but damn, the linearity got repetitive, at least for me. Letter to buy potions. Now, before anybody else could try to call me out on it in the comments, granted, since I have every intention to try to make this the whole game in one video, by the time anybody has a chance to comment on it, the whole game will have been done anyway, so it's kind of defeating the purpose. But just in case those plans don't work out for some reason or another, and I do end up breaking this up into separate videos, multiple... I do know money-making game in there, and about this up here. 100 free rupees. But as usual, I don't get that until just before going to level 5. Because in level 5, there's a secret location where you can pay 100 rupees to get 4 extra bombs. Bomb bag upgrade. So I usually save this for that, so I don't have to grind for any extra rupees beforehand. The game already does that for me, so to speak, in an odd way of putting that. So yeah, just putting that out now. I do know that's there, I'm just not getting it yet. So if I do end up breaking this up into parts, no one can say in the comments, hey, I thought you said you knew so much about this game, yet you forgot an obvious... No, I didn't forget it, I just intentionally left it behind. There is a difference. Alright. Oh, sorry, what am I thinking? For one, that's in the second quest only, and two, that requires the flute, whistle, recorder, ocarina, whatever you want to call it. Here in the first quest, there's nothing on this screen, that's right. Silly me. Okay, I could go in that shop there and get some arrows, but I need 12 more rupees, and I don't have a bow yet anyway, so... Alright, now... Oh, I hate P-hats in this game. They may not be as big and clumsy looking as they were in Ocarina of Time, but at least in that game, you know, yeah, you can hit them while they're still flying around. Of course, in that game, you kind of have to, since when they land, their only weak spot is buried into the ground, so you can't hit them then, so it's kind of the exact opposite, but... Here, in all of these original 2D games, yeah, while they're flying around, they're invincible. You gotta wait until they land. The exact opposite. Yeah. Which, in my opinion, makes them more annoying. You can't hit them, but they can hit you. Fairness issues here? Yeah. Anyways. Blue candle can only be used once per screen. Oh. Doesn't use any magic like the lantern in... At least I think the lantern in A Link to the Past did to some small extent. Which is good because this game doesn't even have a magic meter. That didn't start until Zelda 2, technically. Hey, get back here! Fly away from me, you turd. Oh. Well, you will need that bait in the middle of the screen there. You will need that for level 7. I just hope I remember to get it before then, as that always seems to be a problem. I know that I'm going to need it, but so many times, so many replays of this game, I forget all about it until I get to that room in level 7 where you actually need it. Only then remembering I forgot to even buy one. Like, ah! You'd think, after all the times I've played this game, I'd know... Yeah. But anyways, I wouldn't get it here. I mean, if you have the extra rupees to spare, fine. But otherwise, there's another shop that sells it for 60 bucks. I'd get it there. The shield, however, if you must have an upgraded shield, this is the shop to buy it from. The others would be 130 or 160. So, yeah. Personally, I don't really care for the upgraded shield in this game, since unlike more modernized Zelda games, where if a like does steal your shield, kill it fast enough you can get your original shield back from it. Not in this game. Like steals your shield. The only way you're gonna get it back is to buy a whole new one. Yeah, that happens enough, and I give up on a shield. Forget it. It's not worth it. I'll go without. Cool. Another heart container. And that, well, actually, there are still two more overworld heart containers. The one I showed earlier over there on the east coast, and another one a few screens north of it. But I need extra items before I can get to either one of them, so for now, that's it. There's the entrance to level 1 across that bridge there, but oh, wait a minute, I'm way the hell up here. Okay, never mind. Hold on. Alright, I'm not going to buy any right now, but blue potion for 40 can only be used once, whereas the red potion for 68 can be used twice, so technically the red potion is the better buy. 2 uses, whereas otherwise it'd be 80 bucks for 2 of them. Yeah. No, not. Dang it. Alright. Let's see, where else? Oh, you dirty. Alright, ah, son of a... Hey, what the hell? Oh, you dirty. Give me that. Alright. Try to remember where there was more freebie rupees, but Okay. Now I'll make my way to another shop. Hey, get over here. Oh, you little turd. Fine, be that way. Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. Oh, shit, I don't want it now. Since you max out at 255. Some of it would go to waste, but yeah. Alright, never mind. Ah, so what? So. Alright, got enough. Get back here. Would you quit flying away? Cool. Half damage, double defense. Sweet. Of course, it looks more white than blue, but alright, fine. Alright. Good enough for now. Just. Alright. Now. I'm not going to actually go through with this, but in the original versions of the game, that door up there that's locked, leave, go back in, and for some whatever glitch reason, it's unlocked. But, yeah. I'm not going to do that. In the first quest, there's more than enough keys. You don't have to. I mean, if you want to do that, that's fine, but in the second quest, stuff like that would be more understandable since keys aren't always going to be so easy to find. But here, nah. Stelphos. Damn, they're a whole heck of a lot less annoying than they are in some of the later games. Well, that is if you don't hit them. Run into them. And again, that deadly water can't even go in. I'll die as soon as I touch it. Oh, ooh, just barely missed that. Okay, what? Hey. Okay, fine. Supposed to be able to go up or down, but fine. There's my bow. Unfortunately, unlike every other Zelda game to follow, it doesn't come automatically with arrows. You gotta get those separately. Boomerang! Hey, go up there and get that. What the hell? Oh goody, Wall Masters. Where am I going? What the hell? Now, if I still had full health sword beams, I could stand right here and just pummel him. He can't hit me because of the angles of his fireball. I could hit him, but I for once would have that advantage that usually bosses have against you, but I don't have sword beams, so I can't do that. So. Well, we're at just past the 30-minute mark. If this were a normal video, I'd be ending right about now, but nope, not this time. Whole game in one video. Yeah. Unfortunately, all of the dungeons have the same music theme. They didn't start having unique music tracks for each different dungeon till maybe the original Game Boy Link's Awakening. I don't remember. I very seldomly ever played the original of that game because of the Game Boy. Like I've mentioned before, something about that small 2-inch by 2-inch black and white or black and pale green screen always gave me a headache if I tried to play a game for more than a half an hour at a time. So didn't really get into too many Game Boy games, especially longer ones like Link's Awakening. I don't need you this time. I'm already at full health. Oh, get through the door. Okay, hit one and they all disappear. Alright, fine. I'll take that. Land molas. Very primitive design for them, but yeah. Magic boomerang upgrade already. Okay, fine. Oh, do you mind, game? Wait a minute, why am I going down here? There's nothing down here. Well, there's that, I suppose, but... Oh, get going. Alright. Don't need those, but fine. Okay, which way are you going? Come on, get over here. Easy. as he is in every game. I don't think there's ever been a difficult Dodongo boss fight in any Zelda game. Ever. Alright. Oh yeah. Alright, now that I have a bow. Not gonna need them for a while yet, but might as well get them while I'm thinking about it. Come here, you. Oh, goody. Dark nuts. Yay. At least they're not the blue ones yet. This time I have to fight them. Come on, get over here. Oh, really? Get over here. Oh, get out of my face. I'll take that raft. An item that you never really see again after Zelda 2. Gets replaced by flippers for the most part. Or just the ability to swim in and of itself in the 3D games. Either way, yeah, this game and Zelda 2, the only two games where you ever really see a raft. Well, Wind Waker, of course, that's a ship, the King of the Red Lions. It's not really a raft, so yeah. Oh goody, the bubbles momentarily take away your sword use ability for about 5 seconds. At least here in the first quest. In the second quest, they get a little bit more sadistic with that. You have the orange ones that take away your sword use and tell you either A, hit a blue one to counter it, B, drink a potion. C, make it to a fairy fountain. Or D, make it to a boss and get a piece and beat the boss and get a piece of Triforce without your sword. Or E, the ultimate sacrifice. Die, game over, and restart your game. Yeah. So yeah, second quest gets a little bit more sadistic with those bubbles, but of course, if you don't have any bombs, you can kill the dark nuts in this room, and you'll get in the upper right corner tile bomb drop. Oh, get up there. Ooh, almost got the lucky bomb drop, or bomb placement, rather. With a little luck, if you time that right, you can blow that boss up with one bomb blast. Just instant death. Yeah. It is possible, but... Anyways, now that I have the raft, there is another heart container I can get over on the east coast of the world map, but I'm going to wait on that for a while. In the meantime, well, for now, for starters, over here, one of a few of these. I don't remember how much you got to pay her, but for one of these payment options, she'll tell you something about northwest, southwest. Yeah. Or if you're not thinking compass directions, up, left, down, left. Yeah. Up, north, left, west, down, south, west, left. Yeah. That's how, in-game wise, you find the way through there. You know, of course, these days, people just Google it or Copilot and find out that way. But back in the day when there was no internet yet, yeah, that was your in-game hint. Well, it wasn't really a hint, just straight out told you, but... Yeah. Anyways. Of course, what is it with Zelda games and their graveyards? No. I'll be back here to this screen a little later, as there's a very useful item hidden there, but now... Yeah, by the way, up there, the entrance to one of the more annoying dungeons of the game, level 6. That being the case, very conveniently placed potion shop. Because even I, with as many times as I've played this game, still end up needing at least one potion for level 6. At least one. Power bracelet. Didn't really see it before I picked it up, but yeah, up there in the upper right corner of my inventory screen. Don't need it for the first quest, but to unlock the entrance to level 4 second quest, you will need that. Luckily, it's in the same spot in the second quest as I just found it here in the first, so... Unlike the letter to buy potions, in the second quest, well, get out of the way, you stupid Linos. Got careless there. That's the problem when you have so many heart containers and armor, and you get a little reckless. Almost like you're invincible or something, and oh shit, I guess I'm not so yeah. Of course, I'm talking about the second quest. Even though as of right now I have no intentions of doing another playthrough of the second quest. Yeah. At least not for recorded video purposes. Oh, yes, I'm going to start a fire with the ladder. Well, I suppose I could. Well, I could spread a fire with the ladder, but I'd need something to start the fire on the ladder first. And by the way, while I'm still thinking about it, like what I mentioned earlier, I do know about that. Another one of the last remaining that I haven't gotten yet, or haven't shown yet. Last remaining 100 free rupees. But like the one I showed earlier that I'm waiting till I get to level 5, since there's going to be a bomb bag upgrade option for sale for 100 rupees in level 5. Same thing with that. Is in level 7. In level 7, there's going to be the second of those 2 bomb bag upgrade options for 100 rupees. Which happens to be, level 7, which just happens to be right up here. So, yeah. As usual, I tend to wait until then to get that one as well. Again, I know that it's there. I'm just not getting it yet. And again, I don't know why I'm mentioning this, because this is going to be all in one video. By the time anybody could comment on that, the entire game will be done anyways. But again, just in case, for whatever reason, this doesn't end up being the whole game in one video. And I do end up breaking it up into 2 or 3 videos. Anyways, where am I going? Back to the Lost Woods to get to here. Yeah, see, they're still gone. That's one of the tricks of this game. kill all of the enemies but one or two, and the rest of them won't respawn, no matter how far away from this screen you go. I mean, usually you kill all the enemies on the screen, then travel like 5 or 6 screens away, and when you come back, they'll all be back again. But if you leave just one or two, yeah, very useful with screens with Lionels. Yeah. Since even in this game, much like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, Lionels can be some of the most annoying enemies in the entire overworld. For most gamers, I mean, I've seen some people that can play Breath of the Wild and kill a Lionel without breaking a sweat, so to speak. Not that you sweat while playing video games, but you get what I mean by that expression. Yeah. Me, on the other hand, I mean, I can beat a Lionel, but not so easily as some people I've seen play that game. Holy crap. But yeah, even here, Lionels are like the toughest overworld enemy, or one of them. Well, here they are, no doubt. In Breath of the Wild, they were probably the toughest overworld enemy, especially if you're talking about the white-maned or silver Lionels. Holy good God. And then you get to Breath of the Wild Master Mode, and then you get to the Breath of the Wild Master Mode, and there's a silver or white-maned Lionel right there on the Great Plateau tutorial. Like, what the hell? What sadistic bastard put that there? Really? Like, you're gonna... But I've actually seen people that will fight that thing right away at the start of the game. And win! And I'm the one that's always sitting there in awe. Like, how the hell did you just do that? I can barely beat those things with all of my better weapons and armor. God damn! How did you just do that? Yeah. Anyways. By the way, if I'm going to be up here fighting Lionels, I want my boomerang ready. Well, that doesn't work when you do that, but... Anyways, as I was going to say before dying, in the second quest, for those who are actually playing the second quest, the letter to buy potions is right here on this screen. Kill all these things and then push this down or up, whichever way, if you already have the power bracelet, and it opens a stairway right around here, and down there is where you'll find the letter to buy potions. This thing. I don't know. I don't even remember how I found that on my first playthrough of the second quest. I think it was just while exploring, trying to find some other item or something. I don't even remember. I mean, that was back in like spring, summer 1988. 38 years ago now. But yeah. Like, oh, good. That might help this a bit. I can now, at least now I can buy potions. Cool. Then it's like, wait a minute. Why did they hide it all the way out here in Lionel country? Really? Sadistic bastards. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves. Anyways. Now, there are other bombable secrets up here, but I can't remember if how many of them are that pay me for the door repair charge gag where you actually lose rupees. Yeah. And also, how many of them are second quest exclusive that aren't even there here in the first quest? So, that and the fact that I usually don't bother with opening everything up here anyways. I mean, if this were the second quest, spoiler alert, if this were the second quest, right here on this upper left corner screen of the entire world map, right there would be the entrance to level 9, the final dungeon of the game, or of the second quest of the game. And again, I'm pointing all this out now because as of right now, I have no plans to actually do another recorded playthrough of the second quest. Maybe later on this year, when I'm trying to think of another game that I can do the complete game in one video, or close to. Hey, quit guarding the stairs. Or ladder, or whatever the hell that's supposed to be. Alright, fine. I wanted to go back anyways. Nice little shortcut back. Thank you, game. Alright, now. Gonna get that. Because if I don't end up needing it for level 4, which sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, depends on the playthrough, basically put. I most definitely will probably need it for level 5, so, Now, speaking of level 4, right up there, but since level 4 dungeon boss is one of the, well, the weakest variation of that boss, but still potentially speaking, one of the tougher bosses of the game. So much so that if this is, anybody watching this, if you're going to try playing through this game and you've never done so before, I would almost recommend definitely having both the blue ring for half damage, double defense, having the level 2 white sword, and having an extra potion. Because while this upcoming variation of the level 4 boss is the easiest of the 3, still the hardest dungeon boss we fought so far. Potentially speaking. Of course, it would also be a good idea to have the candle by now. I mean, I won't need it, but I'm going over there. Hey, come on. What the hell? Dark rooms. Like I said, now would be a good time to get the candle if you need it to light up these rooms so you can see where you're going, but Not that I need. I mean, I pretty much got the layout of these rooms memorized. I mean, again, this is the game by far that I played more than any other game in the entire history of video games, bar none. No other game even coming close. So, yeah. With how many times I've played this game, yeah. I don't need no stinking candle to light dark rooms. Dang it. Stupid bubbles, go away. Cool. The step ladder. And this game has the most bizarro use for a ladder I have ever seen in any video game. I mean, much like in real life, usually you'd use a ladder to reach high areas that you couldn't otherwise do so. Video games, much like real life, yes. However, in this game, a ladder is basically a portable bridge on demand. Yeah. Since that's deadly water down there below me, heaven forbid I fall into it, I'll be dead on contact. It's water. Just look at Zelda 2. Every time Link falls into that deadly water, instant death. Damn that water. Lava, that... Okay, never mind. I've been over that rant how many times on my main gaming channel, but yeah. And now that I have that, I can go up here. Oh, come on. Open the door, dummy. Really? Did you stop doing that? Oh shoot, I'm on a bomb. Dang it, I didn't even think to look at that. Son of a... Damn it. Alright, fine. I guess I take the long way around then. Unless he drops a bomb. Nope. No bomb drops from him. Okay. Why? All that's in there is a hint about up the mountain ahead. A hint on how to find level 5 from that point. But I suppose on a first playthrough you'd probably need that hint. Again, especially back in the day when there was no internet yet. And in here we have the dungeon boss. Gleeok! Granted, this is only the two-headed variety. Later in the game, there will be a three-headed, and even later than that, a four-headed one. But yeah. Hardest boss of this game, except for maybe the final boss. But still, a heck of a lot easier here than they would be in Tears of the Kingdom. Good God. I mean, I'm glad they brought the Gleeok enemy back into another major Zelda game for the first time in multiple decades with Tears of the Kingdom, yes. But damn, they definitely raised the difficulty on those. At least for me. Anyways, 4 levels down, 4 to go. Halfway to level 9. Now that I have both the raft and the ladder, well, before I even think about going to the next dungeon, I'm going to take a couple little detours. First, like I said before, now that I have both the raft and the ladder, I can get both of those heart containers out there on the East Coast shoreline. The one that I showed earlier in this video and the one that I haven't yet. Oh yeah, by the way, what am I doing? As long as I'm walking through these screens again. Nope. Much like I did at the start of the video. See if I can get an extra bomb drop here. Nope. Fine. And that's all for the overworld free heart containers. And that's the extent of the use of the raft in this game. Once to get out to level 4, and then this time, or vice versa. I mean, again, I could have came out here and got that heart container before even going to level 4, but since I couldn't have gotten that other heart piece a few screens below until I had the ladder, as usual, I wait until I get the ladder and get both of them in one trip like I just did here and now today. But yeah, technically I could have came here and got that raft, used the raft to get that one heart container before going to level 4. Okay. Now, with all the times I've played and replayed this game over the last near 40 years, you'd think I'd remember where all these go. Wrong. Okay, there we go. Now that I have 12 heart containers in total, levels 1 through 4, and the 5 hidden overworld heart containers, plus the 3 you started the game with, 12 in total. Remember, what, about half an hour ago when I said I'll be back to this screen later, there was something very useful here? Yeah. Well, now that I have 12 heart containers, I can actually get what is here. Whereas before, I wouldn't be able to pick this up. The Master Sword. Well, it's not really the Master Sword until A Link to the Past. Yet another thing that started with that game, but here it's just some unknown magical sword. But the strongest sword in this game. And I would definitely recommend having this before going to level 5. Especially before going to level 6. You don't need it. No, you never need this. The level, frick, if you're good enough at the game, you can go through most of the game swordless. I've seen a lot of people do that. You don't actually need either one of the 3 swords until the final Ganon fight. For whatever coding, game programming, scripting reason, you need a sword for that battle. Otherwise, you can, if you're good enough at the game, you can go through the entire game without any sword at all. But yeah. All right. Now I'm gonna. Eh. Okay. Let's see. Another one of those for a red potion. How 2 blue potions make a red one, I don't know, but in video game logic, somehow blue combined with another blue makes red. Video game logic. Anyways, as long as I'm here, to save time, bypass level 5 momentarily and head to level 6. So that way I don't have to go all the way back over to do level 5 and then come all the way back over here to do level 6 to keep doing it chronologically, numerically. Oops, wrong button. By the way, to complete this level, 1, you will need the ladder from level 4, if I'm remembering correctly. And you definitely will need both the bow from level 1 and arrows from one of the shops that sell them. And at least 1 rupee to fire 1 arrow. Because yeah, that's something I forgot to mention earlier when buying the arrows. Unlike later Zelda games, you don't have a separate arrow count. you need each arrow takes 1 rupee. If you're out of rupees, then you can't use your. So as of right now, I can fire 17 arrows, having 17 rupees. Oh shoot, I'm out of bombs. Oh, so much for shortcuts. If I had any bombs left, I could put a bomb there and take them. Damn bubbles. Oh, never mind, I stand corrected. It's this room that if I had bombs, I could bomb the right wall and take a shortcut. Not the last room, but this one. I stand corrected there. My bad. Put something else there so I don't end up wasting my last potion. And why am I fighting these guys? I don't have to do that. Oh, get in the door. Really? Well, good thing I didn't have an upgraded shield. I would have just lost it. I mean, the upgraded shields could definitely be useful against those wizrobes in some of the previous rooms, but you can lose it too easily. And again, unlike later Zelda games where you can just get it back right away, in this one, no. You lose your shield, upgrade. The only way you're going to get it back is to buy another one. Yeah, every time. Yeah. Anyways. Okay, fine. Have it your way, game. No hearts, huh? Yeah. Bleh. Oh, come on, get through the door. Okay. You suck. now I get bombs. Screw you, game. Alright. Okay, I did get that one. Damn. Sure. I hate when the last enemy on screen drops that thing. I don't need that anymore now. There are no more enemies left on screen to make that use. I hate when the game does that. Now you drop hearts. Like if you've done that back in level 6. Again, I don't know how that works, but fine. Whatever, game. Replace the potion I used already. No, I don't want to go in. I don't want that yet. I don't want that yet. Now I'll go back to level 6. I may have died there, but that doesn't mean I'm just going to give up on the idea. Frick, if I was going to give up, on a level every time I died there, I never would have made it through the game. Ever, to this day. I mean, frick, on my first playthrough, God, I don't know. I don't even remember, but an embarrassingly high number of deaths, let's just say that. Primarily because I tried to take advantage of the idea that unlike most other games of the day, you could actually go out of order. You didn't always have to go numerically, linear paths, etc., etc. You could actually do things in pretty much any order you wanted to. And on my first playthrough, I took advantage of that, and trying levels like this as soon as I found them, without having most of the heart containers or sword upgrades or blue tunic or yeah. And that. Why am I not using that? Actually, I mean, I mentioned earlier how some people like to do swordless playthroughs. Well, as far as you can go with the swordless idea, up until the final fight with Ganon, where you, for some, or for whatever coding, scripting reason, you actually need a sword. But up until then, it's totally possible to get to that point without having any of the three swords. That being the case, a lot of people use this as a strat. Hide in these likes, where you're invincible. And then do that, yeah. Of course, the only problem with that is if you're trying to have an upgraded shield, you just lose it right there, so you'd have to go back and buy another one. Anyways, oh, get up there! I'm gonna die in here again. Great, I'm dead. Unless I get a lucky fairy drop or something. Actually, wait a minute. What am I dumb or am I stupid? Hello? I just bought that potion before coming back up here again. No comment. I'm an idiot. Don't even try to argue. Dang it, I suck today. Usually not this bad. I mean, I can't prove that, obviously, but yeah. And again, sure, the last one drops the stopwatch. Now that I don't need it no more. Alright. The wand. Nice item to have, but you never need it. It's never required. But can be useful as a sword substitute. If those damn bubbles take away your sword use for a little bit. Hey, wait a minute. It has that same sound effects the Wizrobes do when they shoot. Yes, in fact, it does. But unfortunately, they're invincible. They're invulnerable to it. Which I'm not going to lie. I kind of hate that. I mean, you've already seen on this very video how devastating their beams can be. Makes you wish you could give them a taste of their own medicine. Especially now that you have the same weapon they use against you. Let them know. Yeah. But unfortunately, no. You can't use it on them. It does absolutely nothing again. Two middle fingers flying high. notice how since I have the sword up, and there it goes again with the last one dropping that. But anyways, since I have the sword upgrade, the magic sword now, those Vire keys are no longer separating like they did back in level 4. Oh goody, another one of these rooms. By the way, what kind of sadism is this as far as development goes? You have Wizrobes, an enemy who having the magic shield upgrade could be very useful for. In the same room as Likes, who if they catch you, steal that upgraded shield. And for good measure, in that very same room with them is a Bubble, who can momentarily take away your sword use. So, oftentimes a possible scenario is here, the Bubble hits you, you can't use your sword for a few fleeting seconds, and during that time the Like grabs you and steals your shield. Yeah, I say that like that's happened to more times than I care to remember. Rooms like this are the very reason I gave up on even bothering trying to upgrade my shield whenever I would lose one. I do so, then I come up to a room like this and lose it again, upgrade it again, come up to a room like this, lose it again. Ah, frick it, I'm not even gonna bother anymore. I'll just go with the shield I have. Yeah. Screw upgrades. Oh, how did that not hit him? You cheat, game. I'm gonna have to do some... I'm gonna have to pause the video and do a little bit of rupee grinding after this. Oh, get up there. No. Okay, what the hell? Okay, actually, you know what? Oh, never mind. No rupees? Another key, like I need any more of those. Open the door. Okay. Goma! Yeah. Unfortunately, this game, like most Zelda games for that matter, will never be known for their epic boss battles. Yeah. The Wizrobes were more annoying than the boss of the dungeon, by far. Anyways, arguably the hardest dungeon of the game, save level 9, the final one, now completed. Despite my terrible play of the game. I mean, I'm no expert at the game. I'm not even going to pretend to be one. There's people who can do, if you can do a swordless run or something like that, or 3 hard challenge, you're definitely better at the game than I am. But I usually don't have that many problems in level 6, usually. Going through 3 potions. 1 blue one, then going back, buying another one and using it, and... yeah. I usually do not do that badly in level 6. I mean, obviously I can't prove that here after what you just saw, but yeah. Anyways, oh well. Now, let's see. Could try this old trick. Get these guys. Problem is only the original one is vulnerable to sword attack, and the more of the other ones you bring out, the easier it is to lose sight of the original one. And yeah, while that could be a useful trick to gain rupees quick, it could also be annoying, which is why I usually don't do that myself. But I thought I'd at least mention it as long as I was passing through as a possible rupee grinding idea. Sure. All the bomb drops when I don't need them anymore. Screw you, game. Sure. Alright. Alright. Potion replaced. And while I'm thinking about it, before I forget, as I usually do, oh, get up there. Like I commented on earlier in this video, so many times I'll get to that very room in level 7 where I need this item, and only then realize I don't have it yet. So to avoid that embarrassment this time, I'm going to get it now while I'm thinking about it. Yeah. Granted, I can't even get into level 7 yet, but yeah. Alright. Now, for level 5. And again, the last one drops the stopwatch, how typical. Now, one of the hints in level 4, if you remember earlier in the video when I was going through level 4, one of the hints there said something about walking to the waterfall. I forget which one, if it was 5, 10, or 20, but pay her a certain amount of money and she gives you the hint, walk up, up, up the mountain ahead. A hint on how to find level 5 from here, but now, along the lines of level or second quest was either, I think it was right there, or over here, the entrance to level 8 second quest. And for level 4, once you get the power bracelet from the same place I did in the first quest earlier in this video, push this either up or down, opening the stairway right around here to level 4 second quest, meaning that you will need the power bracelet for the second quest, like I hinted at earlier. The first quest is just an optional item there if you want it, but you don't absolutely need it. Second quest you will. You can't even get to level 4 on this screen without it, so... And again, I'm mentioning these things as a passing thought, since as of right now, I have no intentions of recording another second quest playthrough, at least not any time in the immediate future. But for now, up the mountain ahead. Level 5. For this level, well, first and foremost, you'll need the ladder from level 4, obviously. To get past this screen. You'll need some bombs, at least a few of them. And for what's in that room that I just opened the doorway to, I personally would definitely recommend having the blue tunic for double defense, half damage, and the level 3 master sword. Well, I keep calling it the master sword, although technically that didn't start until A Link to the Past. Here is just some unknown magical sword. But anyway, yeah. These guys. I died more times in this room on my first playthrough than I think any other point in the entire game, even level 6 with the whiz robes. Primarily being because of, like I said just, 10 minutes ago, being that this game was so open for the time. Unlike most other NES 80s games where it was linear, always the same level, same order, same bosses, same dungeon, same everything, same every time you played the game. Here, where you could actually switch things up, what a concept. And on my first playthrough of the game, I definitely took advantage of that, trying to go through this dungeon as soon as I found it. Which at that point, yeah, I had like maybe 5 or 6 heart containers. No tunic upgrade because I hadn't found the blue ring shop yet. And with only 6 heart containers, yeah, I had the level 2 sword. Yeah. So the short and simple of this whole scenario was, at that point, having to fight these enemies that without any tunic upgrade do 2 hearts of damage each time they hit you. And with the white level 2 sword, you had to hit them 4 times each. Yeah. And with only 6 heart containers, they hit you 3 times and you're dead. And I don't remember if I even had the if I'd even found the potion shop yet, so I don't remember if I even had potion yet, so yeah, yes, you could argue I brought it on myself by trying to go through this too early. And in a lot of ways, you'd be right. I most certainly did. But still, that doesn't change the fact that, again, I died more in this room than anywhere else in the entire game. So much so that to this day, in the back of my mind, I still have a deep-rooted resentment for blue Dark Nut enemies in any Zelda game that has them. Every time I see them in any other Zelda game, somewhere in the back of my mind, I'm cringing. Bad level 5 memories. Make them go away. I just remembered, after making a point of setting it aside for now, like I pointed out, what, half an hour into this video, if even? Making a point of setting that aside for this level, it's okay, laugh. Laugh riotously loud. I would be at myself if I wasn't so annoyed at my ignorance. I mean, earlier in this very same video, I even made a point of pointing it out, saying that I wasn't forgetting it, that I wasn't, that I did know it was there, but I was intentionally setting it aside for level 5. Making a point of mentioning that on video, and then still forgetting it once I get here. Am I a moron, or am I an idiot? Of course, this is one of those things that I would have never found out back in the day, had it not been for the fact that at some point on my first playthrough, I was standing here to take a drink of coffee, and one of those pea hats hit me just the right way and set me up here. I'm like, what the heck just happened? Yeah. Otherwise, I don't know if I would have ever found out about this place, since there's nowhere in the game that tells you about it. Yeah. One of those things that I just found out about by dumb luck. Like Dragon Quest III, Zoma's Castle, where you have those directional puzzles that early on, where you gotta step a certain way, or get, where the simple solution to that is once you get started on that, just hold the up button, and you get through it no problem. I only found out about that because of a sticky controller. Hold the button too long and it sticks in that direction until you wiggle it loose, Well, on that afternoon, it stuck on the up key and... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay, that's sweet. Easy solution to that puzzle. Wink, wink. Yeah. And yes, that still works even in the more recent HD 2D remake of the game. once I got to that point in that remake, I had to test that theory to see if they changed that somehow to make that puzzle more complicated. But no, even in the most recent version of Dragon Quest III, that trick still works. They haven't changed it. Get back here. Of course, by the way, speaking of HD 2D games like Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3, apparently Square Enix loves those kind of remasters. As from what I heard, the new upcoming Final Fantasy game is an HD 2D remaster of Final Fantasy 1. Which is both cool and a little unneeded. I mean, we just had the pixel remasters of the first 6 games in that series not that long ago. Do we really need another remake of Final Fantasy 1? I mean, really? I mean, obviously, if this is, like Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 HD 2D, they're going to add a lot of content to it, a lot of dungeons and a lot of characters and, things that were never there in the earlier renditions of the game, sure, but still. It's just the idea. Do we really need another version of the first Final Fantasy game so soon? I think Square Enix are running out of ideas for new games. They're getting a little bit heavy on the remakes. Not a good sign for a game developing company. I mean, nothing wrong with the occasional remake, don't get me wrong, but yeah. Of course, Dragon Quest 12 for that series, that got scrapped and restarted, kind of like Metroid Prime 4 way back when. Production completely stopped, work scrapped, and restarted. Still, so part 12 has been delayed because of that, apparently, or so they said in the 40th anniversary video earlier this month. Or late last month, actually. Anyways. Dang, Lever, get out of here. By the way, Level 2 has this, as does Level 6. But you have the main entrance. Okay, that's not the one. Why is this here? Level 2 has this in underneath one of the Armlow statues on the entrance screen there, as does Level 6. And in all 3 cases, yeah, it's just an alternate entrance. Why? I never could figure that out. Why? Oh well. Go away, Gibdos. Again, they're not too hard once you have, once you A, know what you're doing, and B, have enough hearts. But yeah, on my first playthrough again. I died more times in that room that I just passed by than I did at any point in the entire game. Bar none. Not even a contest. Now, imagine my annoyance after getting through all of that and finally getting to this point. Oh, what's in here? Yeah, let's just say those who are sensitive to foul language and dirty words, you'll be glad you weren't around me that particular afternoon, or you would have got an earful of them. Every single foul word you could possibly imagine, with some of my own creations thrown in for good measure. Yeah. So much so that me being only 16 years old at the time, Mom would yell down from her room upstairs, "Hey, you watch your mouth or you're going to be turning that game off." Yeah. Oh, no you don't. I'm not dying this time. I died enough in these 2 rooms on my first playthrough, thank you very much. Now yes, bombs will work on these guys, but you have to place them just right while they're going in just the right direction. I mean, I don't even remember exactly how it works. You'd have to look at some mechanic's guide for that, but... This had better be good, for all I just went through to get here is what I was saying on my... What? Of course you do need this. Not only for the boss of this dungeon, I mean, if you manage to make it to the boss room without this, well, you just started a fight that you cannot win, no matter how many heart containers or sword upgrades or tunic upgrades you have. Without that item I just picked up, yeah, you just walked into a boss fight you cannot win. Give up, come back here and get this, and then go back and fight the boss again. Anyways. Sure, why not? See, now I can carry 12 instead of just 8. There's another one of those guys in level 7. Or if it's a second quest in levels 4 and level 8, second quest. Done up there. Oh, sure, they respawn. Nice. Up above there has the dungeon map, but I don't need it. Hey, come on. After all the times I've played this game in the last 38 years, if I still need the dungeon maps, well, yeah. Okay, why do you keep... God... Okay. Damn it. I hate to be the one that always blames his controller, but... Come on, you had to have noticed by now how it keeps facing right. That's not me doing that most of the time. Anyways, could fight these guys for the compass, but nah. Like I need it. Actually, hold on. Now, fan opinion as to what he's trying to say here has been mixed over the decades. Some fans will swear on a stack that he's hinting at a certain rock formation near level 9 of the first quest that's pointing in that direction in the form of an arrow. Secret power is said to be in the arrow. Bullshit. Most people, however, get it right. He's actually talking about the enemies in the room below me that I ignored up until now. Secret power for killing them is said to be in the arrow item. Get it right, people. It actually goes back to the original Japanese version of this very same game on the Famicom disk system that had a whistle option in the controller where you could breathe into it and it made a whistling sound. That sound generated killed those things instantly. But since the American equivalent to the Famicom didn't have that, they had to find another way. Secret power for killing Pole's voice is said to be not in the sound the microphone generates, but in the arrow. Get it right, people. Well, if you actually hit them, that is. Yeah. Otherwise, even with the Master Sword upgrade, it still takes 3 hits. So, yeah. Anyways, boss fight. Which is kind of unusual that it's a normal door to the boss room. Starting with the Link to the Past, and pretty much every game since then, you need specialized boss keys to open that door. Yeah. Big keys, as they were called in A Link to the Past. Nightmare keys in Link's Awakening, or boss keys in most of the games since then. But anyways, play the flute that you found here in this dungeon to shrink him down to size, basically. And again, no one, not even I, could argue that this game will ever be known for its epic boss battles. Alright. by the way. Oh. Okay, I was thinking it was one of those pay me for the door repair charge gigs where he actually takes 20 or 30 rupees from you. Okay. Guess maybe that's second quest. Anyways. Oh, get out of my way, Octorok. Now, in order to avoid the embarrassment of level 5 earlier, this time before I go to the next level, I'm actually picking this up. Yeah. Now, next stop, level 7. Which now that I have the flute, whistle, ocarina, recorder, whatever the frick you want to call it from level 5, I can now get to. Now, note, for anybody else playing the game, do not make the same mistake that I often do. Do note that for this level, you will need that item. So if you don't have it yet, go buy it first. Three screens up from here, or 2 rather. Yeah. You are going to need that for level 7. Granted, in the second quest, it'll be optional in both level 3 and level 8. Level 3 to get to the magic boomerang in the uppermost room. And level 8 to get, I think, to the magic key item, but yeah. Oh, get out of the way. See that just now? Yeah. Again, I hate to be the person always blaming the controller for their screw-ups, not being big enough to admit that they screwed up. But yeah, I did not do that just now. entering the room and immediately going to the right. That was not me. I think my controller is starting to... Anyways, that's the last of the bomb bay capacity upgrades. Kind of funny that in this game you max out at 16. With all of the upgrades included. Whereas in most games, like A Link to the Past, you can already have, what, 20? I know, 10 at first. Yeah, okay, fine, that's the exception. But in games like Ocarina of Time, you can already have more than that just from the start of the game. Yeah. Not including upgrades that go from 20 to 30 and from 30 to 40, I think it was. Anyways. And speaking of Ocarina of Time, by the way, I think it's time I be honest with myself, much less anybody else watching these videos. For the longest time, I've always said that Ocarina of Time is my favorite game. But in the 6 years since I bought my first Switch in 2020, the number of times I've replayed Breath of the Wild versus how many times I've played Ocarina of Time is 3 times in Ocarina's case, 1 time included being the playthrough for my main game channel several years ago. Since then, 0, 0, 0. Breath of the Wild, more time. And every time I do replay Ocarina of Time, I'm always trying to climb walls and paraglide. And, oh, wait a minute, that's right, I can't do that in this game. That's Breath. This game is too primitive for that. Yeah. So yeah, time to be honest with myself, much less anybody watching this. Ocarina of Time is no longer my favorite Zelda game. Breath of the Wild is, obviously. The game that I talk about most often anyways, but usually about the only time I even mention Ocarina of Time is to falsely claim that it's my favorite game. Fooling only myself. But how many times do I reference Breath of the Wild in the fact that it was the game that brought the Zelda series back to this open world? Yeah. Fans claiming that it changed Zelda. Fuck you, it didn't change anything, it just brought it back to its Z1 game I'm now playing, Origins. Of go anywhere, whenever, anywhere, at any time. Did away with the linearity that Ocarina of Time helped establish. Yeah. All hail Breath of the Wild. For flipping linearity the middle finger, figuratively speaking. Like this game did back in the 80s. I mean, yes, again, there are a few exceptions, like how you can't even get to this level without the flute from level 5. You know, there are some restrictions to the open world, but for the most part, okay, you don't have to fight him this time. I mean, you can if you want to, but... more land molas. They don't even look like anything but a series of orange dots. Anyways, and now we get to this room. The room that took me so long to figure out and find my way through in the first playthrough. And looking back, It's definitely a case of being my fault, not the game's, but the person playing it. What am I talking about? Well, this guy that will not get out of your way. I tried bombs. I tried hitting him with the sword. Even tried getting an upgrade thinking that's what you needed. The sword you had wasn't good enough. You needed the next level sword. Candle. Boomerang. Magic boomerang. Nothing would get this guy out of the way. So then I'm thinking, okay, maybe you just can't go this way. There's a door up there. Maybe, you got to come in from up there for some reason. I don't remember how long passed by until finally it dawned on me. Oh, wait a minute. Grumble, grumble. That ain't him talking. Then those aren't words coming out of his mouth. That's his stomach grumbling. He's hungry. Yeah. And then feeling like the dumbest person to ever pick up a video game controller ever for not realizing that is a little sooner. For taking as long as it did to figure that out. Yeah. Just saying, that took a lot longer than it should have. I mean, yes, in my defense, you could argue there was no internet back in the day, blah, 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 yak, yak, yak. And to some extent, you'd have a valid argument there, but still, even so. Oh, screw you. What the hell? What am I stuck on here? That's better. By the way, as much love as I have for this game, nostalgically speaking, being the game that I've replayed more than any other game in all of video gaming history, bar none, nothing else even coming remotely close, blah, 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 yak, yak, yak. That's not to say that it's a perfect, flawless game, as I've said many times before. I don't believe that there is such a thing as a completely flawless, perfect 10 for 10 video game. And anybody who would try to argue with me is just you being fanboy or fangirl. So eager to praise the game that you love that you're being fanboy or fangirl and falsely claiming that it's 10 for 10 perfection, when in reality there is no such thing. Like any other aspect of life, the quest for perfection can never be totally achieved. Video gaming is no exception. There is no such thing as the perfect 10 for 10 video game. A few have come close, like Super Metroid. But anyways, another argument for another time. In this game, one of the gripes I've always had with this game, whether it's 1988 and I'm playing through it for the first time, or all these decades later up to and including right now, Up until now, we've had the blue candle, which can only be used once per screen, which is okay, but on the first time playing the game and you don't know where any of the burnable secrets are and you're trying to find them, you know, having to once leave the screen, come back, once leave the screen, come back, try it again, leave the screen. That can get annoying. Then you get here to level 7 and get the red candle that can be used as many times in any screen as you want. Really? Why is this the dungeon item from level 7, not level 1 or 2 or 3 at the latest? And the developers obviously wanted it that way because it's the same thing with level 7 second quest. The dungeon item for there. Why? I mean, if you're going through the dungeons in awkward order, maybe not so much so, but if you're going through the dungeons in anywhere near chronological order, by the time you get to this room here in level 7, you probably already found all of the burnable secrets. You really don't need this anymore. So again, why isn't that the dungeon item for level 2 or 3 at the absolute latest, when you could have actually still used it? Left middle finger and right middle finger, both in unison at the same time. Who the... Never mind. Just something that's always bugged me for 38 years now. Why are we getting this now, at this point in the game, when it could have been so much more useful earlier? Middle finger! Okay, I probably said that a little bit too loud for people, especially for those listening to this video on headphones. I probably just gave some people a jump scare if you're listening to this on headphones. I apologize for that, but yeah, I mean, seriously though. Middle fingers to the developers who thought this was a good idea. Having such a potentially useful item being hidden so late into the game. Middle finger, middle finger, middle finger, middle finger to the... Hey, developers, do the letters F-O mean anything to you? Wink, wink, wink. Anyways, rant on that over. This time I do have to fight him, since he made the fatal mistake of locking the door to the room ahead. He's going to regret that. Dumbass. Anyways. And now we're to this room. Now, unlike me, if you've explored this entire dungeon, you probably came across the old guy with this hint, there's a secret in the tip of the nose. He's not trying to make fun of anybody's big nose or anything like that, you know, like some people have alleged, oh, how dare you, getting all offended or some shit over it, you know, really? Get over yourself. He's not talking about your nose. Even though it is funny looking, he wasn't talking about that. Get over yourself. He's talking about the map of this dungeon and the room that I am now in. Where if you get over yourself long enough to look at the map, you can see that it's kind of like a face. I mean, I don't know if it's the... Yeah, okay, the cursor is showing up on screen. There's the eye, the mouth, and we're now in the tip of the nose. Yeah. In other words, the hint is indicating that there's a secret in this very room. Stop thinking everything is offensive. Get over yourself. God, I hate some people today. Gotta whine over every little thing. Oh, that's rude. Really? You're the only one that thinks so, asshole. Anyways. Now, since the trick here is to lure out the wall masters and then one by one get rid of them, since, you know, this game's primary puzzle solution is kill all the enemies on screen to either open the door or to be able to push a block over, like this one right here, which even though I know it's the one, cannot be pushed over as long as there's any living enemies in this screen. Well, other than the bubbles that can't be killed, at least not in this game. So, since the bubbles temporarily remove your sword option, use that. If you've been to level 6 already and have that. If not, there's always bombs or your bow and arrow. But, yeah. Or if you're lucky enough to be able to avoid the bubbles and still have use of your sword, there's that too. But just as anybody who's ever played a Zelda game knows by now, don't get caught by the wall masters because they will take you all the way back to the entrance. Which in some cases is no big deal, like back in level 1. It was what? 5, 6 rooms from the entrance back to the room that had them in. But in this dungeon, that'd be a little bit more annoying. So, yeah, you definitely don't want that to happen here. Yeah, Bubba, get out of here. And there is your secret in the tip of the nose. Again, yeah, I mean, granted, it's like maybe 2 people in the entire in the entirety of the last 38 years, so I'm making a bigger deal about it than needs be, perhaps, but still. Yeah, I actually saw somebody who made a big deal about that hint. In the tip of the... What's wrong with my nose? Like, dude, they don't even know you. They weren't talking about you or your big, fat, ugly nose. Well, I didn't actually say that, but I was thinking it, yeah. Gaga! Fucking goo-goo! Yeah, seriously. Oh yeah, by the way, remember what I've said a couple times already about how this game will never be known for its epic boss battles? Well, I mean, after this, there's only level 8 and 9, the final dungeon, to go. 3/4 of the way through the entire game. I don't know, call me crazy, call me stupid. But I just can't help thinking that by now, 3/4 of the way through the entire game, you'd expect at least somewhat of a difficult boss battle. I mean, right? Right? Well, if that's what you're expecting, unfortunately, you're playing the wrong game, my friend. Yeah. Aqua Wuss Mentis. Who granted, yes, I cheesed level 1 by already having the white sword level 2 upgrade and the blue tunic before even going to level 1, much less making it to that boss fight. So yes, this playthrough might not have been a good example, but even at level, even if you go right to level 1 from the start of the game without any of the extra upgrades. And that's level 1. Now, near the end of the... And again, they couldn't have been thinking of the open world aspect of the game, since you need the flute from level 5 with the blue dark nuts everywhere to even get to this dungeon in the first place, much less this far in it. So, yeah. Really? What is he doing? I'm sorry. As much as I love this game, as much nostalgia as I have for this game, if I were doing a review of this game, I would have to dock points for that. Lack of creativity and originality in boss fights. We couldn't come up with anything new, so we'll just rehash this one. And not even Gleeok or something challenging like that. No. Level 1 boss. It was easy enough back then, but not... Yeah. Points docked for that. We're going to rehash the level 1 boss this late into the game. And again, you can't argue that they were taking the open world aspects into effect, because you can't even get to this level until you have the flute from level 5 with all the blue dark nuts and Gibdos and... Anyways. Alright. Okay, now for level 8, actually. Most definitely gonna need that. There you go, bird. Alright. Oh, get out of my way. Get... There you go. again. Ah! Not these guys again. Yeah. Only now they're even more annoying because you got the fireball shooting statues in the corners. Get out of my way. Get over here, you. Alright, leave some of them alive. Okay. This is kind of backwards progression. The boss of level 6 was the standard issue one. Now the mini boss of level 8 is the level 2 second tier. I don't know, maybe I'm backwards, but you'd think it would have been the other way around. The one that was actually the main boss of the dungeon would have been the more difficult one. The mini boss later, not so much so. Anyways. Come here, you. Well, it helps if you're facing the right way. And down here, optional item, but kind of useful. Magic key. Opens any remaining doors for the rest of the game. Unfortunately, this game and Zelda 2 were the only games officially that would have such an item. After Zelda 2, they realized there's much more designer sadism to be had by making you go multiple rooms out of the way to get a key and then backtrack to use it. Rinse and repeat over and over. Yeah. Why give them the key that's good for the rest of the game? Screw that. We'll make them go out of their way every time. Yeah. Anyways, now there's only the 3 left. Whereas if I'd fought them all beforehand, they would have respawned by now and I'd have to fight them all over again. So, yeah. Oh! Well, luckily I'm near the end, so I don't really need another potion. At least I shouldn't. Dang it, that's exactly why I always make a habit of switching the potion off right away and putting something else up there so I don't do what I just ended up doing. Anyways, don't need that key over there now since I have the magic key. And that's it, all 16 heart containers. And all 8 Triforce pieces. Now, there is one more item in level 8 that I could have got a few screens over to the left, but that's just the magic book, which to me is kind of useless. It just makes the wand shoot fire, big deal. Don't really care. Alright, by the way, if this were the second quest, which it's obviously not, that bush there hides the entrance to level 7. But to open it, you have to use the candle red, or you have to use the blue candle because you wouldn't have the red one yet since it's in that dungeon. You're trying to open the entrance to level 7. You'd have to use your blue candle from here and then open it and then walk around to get to it. But yeah. Anyways. Completed Triforce. Oh, come on, game, really? Dang it. Still need 9 more rupees. Trying to sneak up on me, eh? Well, then I hit. Poo. Ah, there we go. Okay. Now for level 9. Ah, get up there. Come back here. God damn it, get back here. Oh, you little... Ow! Finally, we have different dungeon music. What do you know? Of course, if you found this dungeon earlier and didn't have all 8 Triforce pieces, there'd be that old guy in the dialogue, something to the effect of ones who does not have the Triforce cannot enter, or something. Broken English all over the place, but you know. Door to the at the bottom of the screen, it's just an endless loop basically, and you'll end up coming back here anyways. Of course, there is a spot later in the dungeon where if you go the wrong way, you'll have to go through that and end up back up here, then go all the way back around. Yeah. Anyways, put a bomb here. Potentially speaking, that leads to the compass a few screens south of here, but don't need it. I'll fight you later. For now. Oh shit. Yeah. Huge. Like 3 or 4 of the normal other dungeons combined. But unfortunately, a lot of it is useless rooms. Primarily the entire midsection, rooms that you don't even have to go into, that serve no purpose whatsoever other than space fillers. Alright, now, to not repeat my mistake of level 8, yeah. Oh, get out of here. Now, technically, there shouldn't even be a room here. This isn't on the map. I mean, look at the bottom left corner. We're clearly off the map. There shouldn't even be a room here, repeated for emphasis. Now, I love this game, always have since the spring of 1988 and always will to my dying day. However, that doesn't mean that I'm going to ignore the obvious, that I agree with fans who would say this is a little too cryptic. According to the map, there's not even supposed to be a room here. What the hell, designers? Cryptic doesn't even begin to describe this. I only found out about this by accident of accidentally placing a bomb here, kind of like how I accidentally used my last potion in level 8. Having bombs equipped, wanting to use some other item and forgetting bombs were still equipped and put a bomb up down there. Hey, there's a room up there. Oh, wait a minute, that's not... Yeah. Anyways... Of course, in this room that shouldn't even be here. Oh, what the hell? Optional item, but still damn useful. The red ring. Half damage on top of the half damage we already had. So, for example, Lionels and the swords they shoot at the start of the game would have done 2 hearts of damage. With the blue ring, it was reduced to 1 heart. Now it's half a heart. Cool. Too bad this wasn't available earlier in the game, but unfortunately, even in like A Link to the Past, the red tunic isn't available until Ganon's Castle, or it's part remake, part new game, A Link Between Worlds. Likewise, the red tunic isn't available until the final dungeon of that game either, so... Could fight this Patra, but nah. No need, let's just move on. No! You don't say. You mean I can't just stay here and talk to you for the rest of my life? Get any more lucky fairy drops? Nope, alright. And yeah, as you've already started to see, this dungeon is a maze of these hidden underground passageways. So much so that back in 1988, obviously, there was no internet to Google internet maps of this like a lot of people would today playing the game for the first time. Just Google it. That option wasn't available in 1988, so this dungeon had me drawing my own hand-drawn maps, pointing out where each secret tunnel began and took you to, and then memorizing that map. Yeah. I mean, again, yes, there was Nintendo Power Magazine, but like I've said countless times over and over again, I never had Nintendo Power Magazine. In 1988, I had Metal Edge Magazine. Kerrang! British Hard Rock Heavy Metal Magazine. And a few others of the 80s. Headbangers Ball, Hard Rock Heavy Metal Era, Rat, Motley Crue, Dokken, etc., etc. Music magazines. I had subscriptions to them, not Metal Edge, or not Nintendo Power, I meant, yeah. The hard rock era that was still alive and well and flourishing in those days took precedence over video gaming. I'm sorry. Yeah. I could find my own way through video games. Fine. But I wanted to know when the next, when a band I liked was releasing a new album or coming to town on tour. Finding things out in video games I could do on my own. I don't need a magazine for that. This time we do have to kill him, as we need to take that stairway down. So this time around I can't just avoid him like I did earlier. As you do want to go this way. As you need the item that this leads to. As unfortunately, even if, like back in level 5 without the flute, whistle, ocarina, recorder, even if you make it to the boss of this dungeon without the right item, well, congrats. You just walked into a boss battle you cannot win, regardless of what other items you may have instead. You still, So you definitely do want to go this way. Unless you like the idea of walking into a winless boss battle. I mean, if that idea suits, then fine. Try to make it to Ganon without this item that this is going to lead you to. Have fun. Well, at least this time the room is actually on the map. Unlike the room where I found the red ring earlier. Damn, Bubbles, get out of here. Silver arrows. Of course, in later games it was changed to light arrows, but for this game and A Link to the Past, it's still silver arrows. The item you need to finish off Ganon. You can weaken him with the sword, but you need the light arrows, or the silver arrows in this case, to finish him off. If you do not have those, well, again, you just walked into a boss battle that you cannot win. So, oh yeah, that's right, I gotta fight these things this time. Need to be able to open this stairway. Alright. Don't need that key. Because A, I got the magic key, and B, I don't even think there's any more locked. Well, there might be a couple more locked, one or two more locked doors along the way, but now, for this room, you could fight all the likes to open the door to the left if you wanted to. Or you could just go straight up. Either way, both paths will eventually lead to the same destination, so to speak. If, well, hold that thought for a minute or so. Or not even. Oh, get up there. Now, in this room, whatever you do not want to take the obvious door leading up a screen. Wrong. That door will lock behind you and it will not open under any circumstances, and you'll have to loop all the way back around to where that first tunnel near the entrance to the dungeon took you to, like I was pointing out earlier. And then from there, work your way back here again. Designer sadism. So yeah, do not go that way unless you want to loop around through most of the entire dungeon again. Problem is, the door is obvious. The bottom of a wall is not. So naturally on the first playthrough, you're going to take the more obvious path, most likely. Yeah, that's where the designer sadism comes in. They knew that when they programmed it that way. Watch how many people we make have to loop all the way around just to get back here again because they go through the obvious path and not... Middle fingers, fly again. Gee, the way I talk, you'd think I would have fallen for that. Yeah. Keeping in mind who we're talking about here, not just once or twice, but at least 3 times before I finally got it through my fat head that, oh, wait a minute, that's right, you don't want to go that way. That's a dead end. Yeah. Oh, no, you don't, game. Oh, shoot, I only got 1 potion left? Oh, nice. Damn, I suck today. Well, at least I'm near the end, so... Oh, get... What the hell? Get. Alright, get through there. Come on. God. Son of a... Alright, well that's the end of the whiz robes. Unless I end up dying and end up having to go through the dungeon again, then yeah, but... Alright, the final stretch. Obviously, you have to fight this one to unlock the door above. And now, the final boss of the game. Ganon! And again, hopefully you remembered to get the silver arrows before coming here. Otherwise, congrats for walking into a boss battle that you cannot win. No matter what else you may have. Now, he hides like a wuss. And I don't know if there's any kind of scripting here or if it's just random. That I have never been able to figure out. You know, if he just moves at random or if there is some kind of pattern, some kind of method to the madness, if you will. But I usually just, no, yeah. One more time. Okay, come on, Ganon, you coward. Get out here and fight. Oh, okay, fine. Still one more time. Alright, when he turns that color, plug him with the silver arrow. And again, hopefully you have the silver arrows and not just standard arrows, otherwise you're jolly well screwed. But, game over. Well, if I can actually walk a straight line, that would be nice. And that's it. Okay. Damn, endings were brief back then, weren't they? And what's with all the assumed names? I mean, I could see doing that if this was some kind of crappy game like Silver Surfer or Hydlide, not wanting anybody to know that you actually had anything to do with the development of that game. But for a golden gem all-time classic like this, why is Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of the entire series, hiding his name with some assumed name? Anyways, the sword there that he's now holding signifies second quest. Otherwise, yeah, if you want to skip the first quest and go right to the second one, like the code beneath it, enter Zelda, and you go right to the second quest. Which I might do eventually, but again, that is yet another thing that set this game apart from any other game on the NES in the 1980s. It actually has a second quest. Not just a second loop like Ghosts and Goblins or other games where it's still the same levels, just the enemies are slightly different now, slightly a little bit more difficult. No. This actually is almost an entirely different game. Level 1 is still in the same spot, but all of the other levels will be in different locations with different room-to-room layout, different bosses, different items, different locations. The rupees and overworld heart containers will be in different spots. Yeah. It's almost like an entirely different game. Again, unlike other games with their cheap second loop passing as a second quest, middle fingers in their faces as well. Ghosts and Goblins, blah, blah, blah. Screw you. That's not a second quest. That's just the same game repeated for milking purposes. I mean, Ghosts and Goblins is a good game, don't get me wrong. It's just that second loop bullshit that makes me want to flip it the middle finger. Anyways, that's it for this game. Still one of my all-time favorite games. And certainly the game that saved my interest in video gaming back in the day of linear platformers like Ghosts and Goblins and Castlevania. And just when I was about to give up on gaming, this game comes along, like I said in the intro. Without this game, not only would I not be a Zelda fan, I wouldn't even be a gamer today. I would have given up on the idea decades ago. Linear platformers my ass. And again, that's one of the reasons I so dearly love Breath of the Wild, returning the series back to its open world roots that this game started. Doing away with the linearity that games like Ocarina of Time and Skyward Shite established. Well, not so much that game, but Toilet Princess and everybody's favorite character Shitna. Doing away with the linearity that those games bring it back to this. Anyways, point made, moving on. Next time, well, I don't know if I'll be able to play through the entire game in one video like I did with this game, but the next Zelda game I play through, the always infamous, usually always hated Zelda 2, a game that I've loved ever since it came out in December of 1988. It's not even close to being a favorite Zelda game, but it's still, you know, up there, top 10, top 15, you know. I mean, I certainly like it more than I like Twilight Princess or Skyward Shite. Of course, that ain't saying much. To say I like a game more than those two games isn't exactly an ultimate compliment. The idea of not playing any game at all would be better than playing those two games. But anyways, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time for whatever game I end up playing, be it Zelda 2 or whatever. Bye.